My name is Monte Wright, a mixed media artist from Kitchener, Ontario, and I've worked in many years in a variety of media. I've explored the union between life and nature through painting and collage. I'm an international painter who has shown his art in the US, Britain, and Italy. I've explored a series of work called Expressionism and Behind the Mask. I especially like the use of texture and line in my work. In one like this, of course, too, you see the white contrasting to the blues and purples and yellows that are in the background. I've been finding that you can move more and more into the deeper cavities of the painting. In addition to the dimensional work I've been exploring, I find that colored shapes and forms can develop on the surface. In ones like the Behind the Mask, you see the aspect of flowing line and going through to the reds that you see in behind. In this latest painting, I found that I wanted to explore more of the simplification of the shapes and forms and the space that's within it. How did this young boy, Monte Wright, from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, at last make his mark in the art world? After getting my high school certificate in London, Ontario, I took a 2-year commercial art course at H.B. Beale Technical School in London, Ontario. My teachers were inspiring and had made names for themselves as artists. My first job was at Jones Box and Label Company, designing notion bags and labels. But in my spare time, I was always sketching. At that time, London had an exciting art scene and a gallery supported by the local media critic. Fellow graduates were starting to make their mark. I first showed my work at the local art mart, then, by 1962, at a library gallery. I became quite involved for a while, being curator for Davis Gallery across from the City Hall. Many years later, I would set up a cooperative of artists at Gallery 2000 in Kitchener. But after 4 years of design work, I was unsatisfied and turned to teaching art. A 32-year career which included 4 Kitchener high schools, many a weekend and holiday season were devoted to experimenting and growing ever more versatile. But with my studio being at home, there was time to share in family activities as well. I was intrigued by some discarded old wood, and this was the beginning of my works on barnboard. I matched monochromatic photos of the past with the worn, weathered wood, painting right into the deep texture. These works were sent on a tour of 4 cities in the Canadian Western provinces, to Regina, Saskatoon, Moose Jaw, and Brandon, Manitoba. A number of works in that style were privately commissioned. In an Ottawa exhibit, Prince Philip, consort of Queen Elizabeth, took note of this unique expression about the past. For a while, I was intrigued with our native culture. After visiting our First Nations people near Cayuga, Ontario, I also had a phase of doing watercolors and scenes from right around home. Another era was with surrealism, where it seemed things are floating in space. This was often done using an airbrushing machine that has a fine nozzle instead of a regular paintbrush. Later, in a scary move, I changed my easel for a van, where I painted scenes of the Greek gods and of early Canada. Such artwork was all the rage, and my son certainly thought it was pretty cool. home, they began to say, just give Monte a wall. The bigger the better. Over 10 or more years, there were some landmark murals. 2 were commissioned by the city of Kitchener. Kitchener Market showed the history of our markets from their beginnings in the basement of City Hall, through to the one housing the Record newspaper and called the Eaton Centre at the time. It had a unique concept of market business flowing outside, from the booths inside. The mural, Hoffman's Shoe, Our Heritage, was a widespread 13-foot high by 70-foot long and featured the product being assembled and moving on to serve the various clients. Many other murals were freely given to 4 different churches: St. James Rosemount United, Kitchener, First United Waterloo, Waterloo Mennonite Brethren, Waterloo, and St. John's United Hamilton. They ranged from huge ceilings to whole rooms, to stairways, to partitions. Other helpful contributions I gave were for stage backdrops, banners, and sign lettering, whatever was needed. Some had the black line technique of Orozco, a Mexican artist I admired. Others were soft and dreamlike according to their usage. I was often drawn to study the world around me, especially the rocks and trees. I loved playing with the shapes and shadows, looking for a spiritual expression that might emerge. Further, I began to superimpose our fleeting human times against a background of ageless rock formations by using collage materials or a digital overlay. On a few occasions, such as 9/11, I would create an emotional response with combined photo imagery. I determined to go beyond flat surfaces, using impasto and palette knife strokes on Durabond, a composite, with acrylic added. The textured surfaces would then suggest their own title. Another series called Threads of Life made use of mixed media and fiber, often burlap. In the composition, I might use various photograph and collage additions. A showing of these in Toronto led to a few commissions, including one for the Central Police Headquarters and matching hasty notes for the bereaved. By the year 2000, I was creating a series of abstract works which dramatically flowed to a central focus. They included my love of texture and dimension by using mixed media. They showed a vital movement and force within and without. A group show to support a unique area called Hidden Valley in Kitchener brought me new inspiration, showing a masked man slashing through the virgin forest. I was expressing a theme about the anonymous industrial workers amongst us and about our fragile environment. But I soon realized the role that masks have played throughout the countries and cultures. This led me to note their prominent place in theater and a further focus on masks in collage. The works that you see now in Florence are the ultimate combination of so many previous interests: texture, depth, shape, form, color, all in the abstract style. It intrigues the viewer to feel the flow and message of the work, all of it shrouded in a sense of mystery. My works have caught the attention of galleries in New York, Florida, London, England, and even Argentina. But the Monte mind, as we call it, is still creating. I love every minute I can still give to art.